what we're going to be doing today. We are going to be making this active exhaust off of a Mustang GT work for a Mustang that doesn't have the active exhaust. Now, I don't really care. It doesn't have to be electronic. I don't really care if it's electronic. I'm happy to quickly go into the car and switch this between open and closed. Basically, the way this works, exhaust flows in through here. This is more or less its own muffler. I believe it's just a straight pipe coming into this pipe, and this one actually runs through the chambered exhaust, through the chambered muffler. So when you twist it this way, that's open. Should be able to see in there. That opens the valve. Exhaust flows straight through this pipe. When you close it, exhaust is forced to flow through this pipe. So what we're going to be doing is finding a way to make this so that I can either open it when I want it louder or close it when I need it to be quiet, and be able to do that relatively easy. I'm not adding any electronics to it. I'm just going to have a simple mechanism that attaches to here that allows you to open, hold, and close hold. So here's how I do it. So the way I've gone about doing this, and this is literally just with scrap laying around my garage, I welded a bolt right there, and then I welded a piece of, I think this was 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch steel stock. And so now I have a rotator over the valve. This, which way? I think this was closed. Sorry, wait. This is open, this is closed. No, this is closed, this is open. Now what I have over here, I have a couple magnets I'm gonna try. And what it'll do is when you swing it open, it'll adhere to the magnets, which will be located here on either side, and then there. And the magnets should hold this in place. All right, so we have it. This is open, that's closed. So when you want to open the valve, you want it louder, put it that way. Closed, right there. And this should hold it shut. And then this should hold it open. And so this will be under the car. So all you got to do is just reach your hand up and flip between the two. I didn't want to do any wiring or any crazy modifications. I just wanted a simple, hey, I'm feeling like it should be louder today, flip the valve, or hey, I'm getting up early tomorrow, I got to go to work early, close the valve on both of them. Should be super simple. We'll install it and then we'll find out. Hopefully the hanger's not in the way to the point where I can't reach this. We'll find out. I'm thinking also I should be able to reach it from this side, be able to swing it if I need to. So we'll get this thing installed and come back. All right, so I got both these done. This one's a little bit different because Home Depot is out of those type of magnets, so I had to make do. I think these ones are actually stronger, these little circular ones, but because they don't have any backing to them, couldn't weld them, or at least I didn't want to weld them, so I used JB Weld on both sides. It should do the job. There's really not a lot of force going on either side of these, so welding them is probably overkill anyway, so I don't want that to come apart. So we're gonna let the JB Weld cure on this one. This one's all ready to go. Biggest reason I went this method was because the actuators for these things run maybe 150 to 200 bucks a piece used, and that's for one. So you'll easily spend 300 plus on used actuators. I think the new ones are way more. You might spend around 500 or 600 bucks or something. But the other thing is I don't want the hassle and the problems with the electronics within them. I feel like I've heard somewhere that the motors go bad at some point, and I really just don't want to deal with that. You have to tear apart the actuators anyway in order to change the wiring in them to make it work on a system like this that doesn't already have it built into the computer. I figure personally it's just easier to go a manual route like this. So plus I think the quad tip exhaust looks a lot better than the single tip. But that's my thought. And by the way, it's going on my 2024 GT convertible that I have had for just over a year. I believe I got it last February. Once I hit 10,000 miles, which should be soon, I'm at about 9,000 right now. When I hit 10,000 miles, I'm going to give a 1-year review on this car on thoughts and ownership a year later. So we're going to let this cure. Next step's going to be cutting off where I need to splice into the factory exhaust on both of these, and we'll get it in and see how it sounds. So I got these mocked up, kind of as is, and it worked pretty well. Quiet mode's nice and quiet. You pop those baffles and boom, it got a nice throaty sound. So next step's gonna be the tough part, which is cutting the valence. That's not fun, but I think it's about 8 3/4 inches wide across here. I'm gonna take an angle grinder or the cutting wheel, cut a straight line up here, and then try and round it off and take it across there. We'll see how it comes out. All right, well, we cut this off the valence from out of here. It's not the prettiest. It's not bad, but it's not the prettiest. Next up, we're gonna get this thing put into place, see how it looks. And that's a wrap. Got both sides on. I think it looks pretty sweet. And the best part, all you gotta do, reach underneath here, and I can switch between them. Sorry, I can't show my finger, but yeah, you get down, you change them right there. Same on this side. Let's see if you can see it right there. All you gotta do, flip between them. Quiet, loud. You can see inside. Oh, there it is. Right. Open, shut. Not bad. So that's a wrap. I think the tips look pretty cool. Valence ain't too bad. Not perfect, but not bad. And that's it for this one. All right, so it's a couple weeks after I've done the install. First thing, I love these quad tips in the back. I just think they look so much more aggressive. So I love that. But I've had no issues so far. The active exhaust has done exactly what I wanted. Depending when and where I'm going and what time I'm leaving, shut the valves, it's quiet, pop them open, and it's louder, throatier. But the best thing is with the active exhaust, it's not incredibly drony like a lot of aftermarket mufflers are. I think it's the perfect volume that I was looking for, and for just making this work. Now you don't have the problems with the actuators. You don't have any wiring you have to do. It's a very simple install, assuming you have a welder. I'm sure you could do this whole thing with JB Weld if you don't have a welder. But yeah, I'm gonna demo it real quick, see how it works. Taking it on a couple road trips, I probably put about 1,000 miles on it so far, and I haven't had any issues. The magnets work great, and my wife's happy with it too, because she didn't like how drony it was with the aftermarket muffler. So I'm gonna fire it up right now in quiet mode. That's quiet. Now I'm gonna go flip the valves. That's one. That's two. And this is with the valves open. Simple as that. Yes, I know it's not ideal. I know a lot of people will probably be like, why didn't you just put the actuators on and wire it into the cab? Like I said, I didn't want to go through with all that. Didn't want to risk voiding warranties. Didn't want to go crazy. All I needed was a way that if I'm driving to work at 6 in the morning, I can have the valves closed, take me to work. I can open them up when I leave and have them open when I come home. Or if someone's in the car that wants it quiet, I can just close the valves, does the job. I don't need it active on the fly. I don't need to be able to switch from the cab. This does everything I need. So hopefully this helps someone else who's wanting to put active exhaust on their standard car, but don't want to spend the money to get actuators or go through the hassle of wiring them and reconfiguring everything. It's a simple setup. I'm happy with it. If you can find a stock active exhaust for yours for cheap on Marketplace, definitely suggest doing this.
Until next time.